What's going on, guys? It's Rockma here, and we are reviewing, or not reviewing, we're reacting to This Is Why I Play WoW by Bellular clips. Let's get into it. I think it's clips. Yeah, it's clips.
There are actually better things to talk about.
Yep, such as... Sorry. Just saw us laugh again. We talk about content.
Yes, content.
There's content out this week.
There
unlike
is
last
content.
Week. There's content this week.
Yeah, certainly more this week because you know what? Sanctum of Domination.
And it's been fun.
Great. Man,
I like it.
Yeah.
Other than
it's not much, but it's content.
Painbringer,
Smith.
Yeah, he has been smithing a lot of pain.
Dude,
in the
Pain Smith is a fucking asshole.
I love that boss. I think it is so fun. I love it.
It is pretty nice. I haven't, beat it yet though.
A lot of bosses in terms of how movement mechanics are designed.
Wait.
I think that like the how simple it is to just go, oh, this pattern is moving towards me. Plan where to stand, when to move, where to move. Yeah. While also doing everything else, just feels great.
Yeah.
It's literally.
I love this because it kind of feels. So one of the things I play, FPS games a lot and battle royale games a lot, and one of the things that I love in like team FPS or battle royale is that I'm always thinking ahead. I'm always like, where do I need to be? What's gonna happen? Where can they come from? Like planning ahead and knowing what to do before you do it. I love that feeling, and that fight definitely drives that home.
The core building blocks of fun gameplay, and they've managed to succeed in a super satisfying way that requires it's the pattern recognition stuff of how the different like weapons come through across the place.
Yeah,
it's great. It's
the fucking mines and shit.
Man, it's such a marvelous fight. Those bits where the stuff's happening and then the balls come in. Yep. They're going down and like, getting the middle ball, everyone running through, but then them doing the chains mechanic that interacts so good with the.
It's a stupid check, but in a rewarding way because you're just. It kind of takes you out of like how much damage am I doing, what's my gear score, all that kind of crap, and it's just like I need to play the game right now. It's nice.
Gapping the balls. Yeah. It's such a well-designed fight. My God, I love it. It's great. Yeah. So okay, Painsmith, awesome.
It is.
It's a little bit more punishing. We've worked out on smaller raid sizes like 10, which is us.
Also, it is a massive step up just in terms of complexity for individual players, even on heroic. Yeah. Dacker was telling me like the jump from Ner'zhul or Soul Render up to Painsmith is insane, even on heroic.
Wow. Okay.
And that's with I believe it's a group of 20. So it is. It does particularly punish smaller raid sizes,
and for Dakor 20 mythic raiders.
Rough.
Yeah, but it is also just brutal. Like,
yeah. So wow. Okay.
It's gonna get nerfed eventually.
Brutal,
but fun.
Really, I love the fight. I do have to wonder if it will see some tuning.
Oh, 100,
maybe
110%.
Maybe after mythic clears.
I wouldn't be surprised if it gets normal. Even just normal tuning, I wouldn't be surprised.
I suppose they could.
I think heroic and normal is definitely going to see some tuning within the next couple weeks.
Same time.
Yeah, it was really weird because it was one of those fights where like it kind of clicked, and I feel like what to do in that fight clicked with everyone in our group. We just kept on fucking it up.
Well, that's what I think is probably some of the pinnacle of video game design in general, where that's the feeling you should always be aiming for. I don't mean that to say as in WoW's like the best design. I mean like. The North Star of how players should feel is, I understand that's simple, but I cannot actually execute it yet because my execution isn't up to par.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's ways that can go wrong.
And a lot of that is that whole like thinking ahead of time.
Like I'm so confused by 500 bits of noise in my face and in my ears that I can't focus.
That's not fun.
But in World of Warcraft, it is you're trying to do a couple of things at once.
These guys are fucking spot on in this video.
If you plot out how would I do this, actually, the Sanctum of Pineapples is a very good example for this, because Sanctum of Pineapples is absurdly easy, because all you're doing is holding a button to shoot, because you're not doing everything else that the game requires you to do. Like on paper, Painsmith is piss easy, like really is, like organizationally it's extremely easy. But
for anybody who doesn't understand what he's talking about, Sanctum of Pineapples is a browser game you can play to practice mechanics in the game.
Execution difficult because everyone's trying to DPS, everyone's trying to heal, everyone's trying to move, all at the same time.
Doing. Let's see. I was going to go with DDR and Guitar Hero at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, that's that's the way people talk about it. Playing FF, like
Beat Saber while you're playing Fall Guys.
Yeah.
Probably a challenging thing to do. But I love it. So Painsmith, I
need to play Fall Guys. I never have.
We'll go through from the start. I think Targru is a really fun first boss.
I agree. I agree. He's solid for first boss.
Busted anima power bullshit. Fun.
Yeah,
it's good.
They've finally got a first boss that's actually kind of, they've taken the fun instead of making it like, because obviously when you design a fun boss, Blizzard usually have to go with mechanical density or mechanical complexity to have fun. Which, as you can see, you can always see that in every raid fight where people love the later bosses but are kind of bored by the earlier ones.
Right.
And the Targru subverts that by using the anima mechanic, while also being a...
Yeah, it's kind of a boring fight, because you've got, like, the circles, and you've got, like, you've got all the anima powers and everything. Like, if it was just that, if it was that without the anima powers and without the, like, crazy amount of like... When I fucking, oh my god, so I had Avenging Wrath popped, and I had a trinket going, and I swear to god, I think I Word of Gloried somebody from like 80% back up, or from like 20% back up to full, and I felt like a freaking god. I solo healed that boss for the last like 40% of the fight. It was so much fun on my paladin.
A fun fight in itself.
Yeah, it's just such a smart design. Yeah. And that intermission as well. I love how, like, the tuning of the intermission, you will always make it. But because they know the speed of your character, they make it just clenchy enough.
You actually forget one thing.
Oh?
That's because we at least had one Satchel of the Hunt, which I had, which is 30% move speed to everyone nearby.
Oh, we were using bear.
If you don't have that, everyone needs move speed to get over. But if you just, if someone sacrifices a personal throughput, like anima power to get that instead, then there you go. So that's what we call.
Yeah,
that's the smart part about it, where there's Nintendo design, but there's customization in the anima powers to not do it. I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't looked at what curve. Hello, I haven't looked at what the glory achievement is for that.
We had two.
But I wouldn't be surprised if that's like not using anima powers or not using specific ones.
Yeah. So I thought Targru was awesome. To move on to Eye of the Jailer. I really love the Eye of the Jailer fight. Now,
it's fun.
I know that it's not the most complex thing ever, and we've sort of talked about this off stream, but for me, it is just the big, simple mechanic that happens to the whole room that I love. And for me, that's...
I loved it, but I was lagging so freaking hard during it, dude. I was sitting like 400 latency, and I was just crying. It was actually pretty funny interacting with my chat. My stream was doing fine, but man, interacting with the game, I don't know if it was because it was the first day that was out or what, but man, I was having a rough time on that fight.
It's like Denathrius Phase 3. That is the Garrosh fight. I mean the Garrosh fight in Dorzamain, whatever he's called.
Soul Render Door?
Yeah, Soul Render. And really just a lot of that stuff. I love that stuff. So, oh yeah. Eye of the Jailer, we were 120k HP off killing him, and I was just trying to get one more little thing off, and I died. There was one other fight as well where basically as soon as we were like 99.9% through the health bar, and I get myself killed.
I kept getting freaking rooted by those white circles because I was lagging. I swear to God, I was out of them.
Yep.
So I used Bop, I used Bubble, I used all kinds of shit. I was being cheesy.
Very, very interesting because I know
But I really like that I had that experience of like, even though I was getting fucked up left and right by mechanics that I really shouldn't have had a problem with at all, I still almost felt a little too powerful. I felt OP because I was like, oh, I've got this, I've got this, I got this, I've got that. Like I can work around this way. Like I know I didn't have my DBM or anything running, so I didn't have any timers. So I was just like, I think it's happening now. So I just start moving ahead, and I felt really engaged with the game versus my normal like, do the boss as fast as you can. Okay, it's dead. Move on to the next boss. And like I think we one-shotted basically almost everything. We got stuck on the Smith. He was an asshole. I don't know if we actually killed him or not.
Don't agree that it's super fun, but that's because it's normal. I'm a healer. It was just drop pulls. It was to me it was drop pulls and avoid big beam.
Yeah,
and I was just like, all right. Well, where's the raid wide damage? Where's the stuff I have to do? I don't have to move very much. It's the kind of thing where I prefer like Painsmith, and this is kind of goes to how I prefer design. I can't remember who it was, but someone earlier in chat said
I had to heal both groups, and it was crazy.
It was fun. I'm actually not going to say it. I'm not going to say that name out loud. But the big heinous something said Painsmith reminds them of a faster paced Eden fight, which obviously Eden being the Shadowbringers raids.
I don't remember that fight.
That design of just constant movement, like rhythmically, you plan ahead for it.
Yeah.
Felt really good.
Yeah.
Whereas on Eye of the Jailer, I had a lot of time where I was free to heal, and I was just like, I could be doing less downtime here. Maybe that's fixed on Heroic with the additional mechanic. Hopefully. But
I don't
otherwise
know.
It's like it's an early
I felt
boss,
like it was
so
fun
it's supposed to be
because
easy. It's just
I was lagging like crazy.
To me, that easy it wasn't.
I was sitting
fun,
at 300, 400 a freaking pop, just sweating my freaking face
when
off.
you're a stupid DPS player like me, downtime in a raid is basically, oh cool, I can mash my keys even harder. Like like how, because we watched Fast 5 yesterday as a bit of random fun, and it was like when that bit when The Rock is just shooting his gun, and it's like he's squeezing the trigger so hard the bullets come out faster.
Yeah.
That is that's kind of how I feel whenever I get downtime and I'm like, yeah, see this fucking aim shot? It's going to be the best aim shot. I don't know why. So I guess it's like for a DPS player, you're like, okay, cool, there's some downtime. I'm just going to go ham and just rail on this boss for a bit. But if you're a healer and you're not getting pressure, you're just like, well, you're a holy paladin, so at least, you can damage. But
yeah, I'm just, I mean, everyone can damage, but I'm just sitting there going, okay, so I've got my 3 buttons. I'm just going to press them as they come off cooldown. All right.
I suppose
where's the mechanics? But I guess that's
it's that
like
thing
5 buttons you can push.
Healing
not
gameplay
optimized,
is like
but you got 5 buttons you can push.
Defensive unless you have a lot of, or super reactive in the moment. Unless you've got a bunch of absorbs, because then you can at least use your absorbs to prepare for incoming damage, like a disc priest in MoP.
Yeah.
Before that, I guess they kind of nerfed that.
I guess if he doesn't have the Sacred Shield, that's not one of the buttons, but.
Yeah, I think to have fun as a healer, you definitely need to be somewhere where you're like a bit more pressured. Whereas to have fun as a DPS, it is just smiley face, buttons, 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 bar go big, me happy. And that is my fundamental, affinity with DPS.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
it's
totally one of those people.
Yeah, it's a thing where I feel the entirety of good encounter design in an MMO or some game where you pressing, doing optimal damage or doing what your character can do optimally requires effort. It's a marriage of these two things where it's parallel processing. You've got on one line, you've got what you're doing as a character, and then what you do against everything, and on the other line you've got what your enemies are doing or what the room's doing or something that you have to react with, and it's where those blend really nicely is where it's most fun. But the problem is
if it's less fun for 1/3 of the group,
if damage isn't incoming,
it is what it is, dude. It's one fight. Whatever. I think it was fun, and I was playing on the Holy Pally.
Just a complete nightmare, and damage coming in ways that you can react to, expect, prepare for, stuff like that.
I liked the downtime.
Whereas I feel like on that fight specifically, it's very,
especially like with the ads, when the ads were out and you had to help pressure with the ads, or I know that my tanks were getting freaking annihilated. Because we had like a 205 and like a 207 in normal, and we were just getting rolled. That was fun, especially like having to balance back between the two. When one of the other healers died, I mean that was good.
Very much, neither of the paths required much execution, which resulted immediately me going, all right, well, I hope nobody gets hit by this thing.
I guess it's like for me, I can at least be. Time my aim shot so that I get 2 precise or 1 or 2 precise shot stacks. So that whenever I use the grappling hook while my character's in midair, I can pump off those 2 arcane shots.
Yeah, that's
it's
nice.
Like those little bits that are like still the sort of fun that I can get out of it. But yeah, hopefully on Heroic it's pressuring you a bit more and doing stuff like that to make it more fun for the healers. For the next boss then, the 9. The 9, it's weird. I know I enjoyed it. I don't remember it that much, so I need to definitely go back in there. I mean, there's the bit that I do remember, which is the ice.
There's a shitload of mechanics.
Where you're supposed to, yes,
that was some fun was had.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably UI optimizations that people can make to do that. Also, general player optimizations to do that, because it was frustrating as a healer, but that's because the mechanics a bit
Look at your fucking character.
Yeah, the mechanics
Maybe it got really big and blue.
Yeah, so the mechanics are kind of interesting. Otherwise, I feel like
there's
a
lot.
better.
There's a lot to deal with. There's a lot of different things you got to balance.
Boss and they had more time to throw stuff at it. I really look forward to it on heroic.
Yeah,
because those the combination of mechanics are really, really fun. I just feel like the room's too big. Maybe that's because later on you'll want the room for fragments to cover all of it on like Mythic or something.
Yeah.
So the ice pools, maybe it is a case of like the soft enrage of covering the platform. But on normal, we had so much room to play with that the Eternal Blades didn't feel oppressive.
He just doesn't like easy fights.
You just move for free to get out of these Eternal Blades. Whereas, like, I loved Massacre, which is literally the same mechanic, but I loved Massacre on Denathris because it was wide enough, you were in these narrow corridors, and it was just going through. So you did have to be careful.
Yeah, we did.
Especially dodging the tank line stuff. And then the
especially on phase 3, whenever you get when you're getting fucked up by Massacre, and then the fucking knockback would knock you into it. It was just like, god damn it happened again.
So that was kind of satisfying, but the same mechanic feels a bit wasted in this massive empty room, where it's like, here's some narrow lines. You're like, well, this is nothing to avoid. But as soon as you get I'm going to say how Blizzard pronounce the name, Skyja, even though it's clearly Skia or Skaya or something.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, it's
Nazjatar.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. I feel sorry for any sort of more
Fjord.
Any sort of Northern Europeans having to deal with that. But as soon as she comes down,
is that really did that? Fjord?
Like, not the pre-programmed order, but in
isn't it Fjord? Have I been doing this on this entire time?
To dodge while you have to
Fjord, right?
Soak the 4 things, or Eternal Blades while you have to stack, or soak and stack. That stuff's really cool. So I can't wait to get to that in heroic.
Yeah,
because everything else about that fight's really cool.
Yeah, so moving on from the 9, it is Ner'zhul.
I can't.
I think for us it was Ner'zhul.
Yeah, it was Ner'zhul. Yeah.
Ner'zhul.
I don't remember the Ner'zhul fight.
Felt like he needed to be on heroic to get like the double knock.
Yeah, normal.
Because the single knock just doesn't.
I don't remember the fight.
Together. I can understand why they made that choice for normal mode, but that was basically a one shot, move on to the next, and didn't really. I can't even say much about that fight because I was just sitting there DPSing something and stuff happened, then it died.
Yeah, the time mechanic of that is really cool.
I fucking healed.
It was a way more
and then
fun than
I didn't stand in shit, and that was pretty much it.
Basically. So the tank mechanic is to aim a line tank buster. Now I'm using FF terminology, sweet. But to aim a line tank buster through the orb to make it vulnerable.
Yeah.
And then you can destroy it. The throw off the edge is kind of cool. I will say that's just a fun little thing to do. We, for context, you pick up an orb after we kill it, and then you walk over to the edge, and then you get an extra action button to throw it off, but you're slowed while you're doing it. So it is just so either a healer do it or someone who tank your DPS to pick us up.
I think my druid did it.
It's really cool, but
my rusted druid
tank buster line through the orbs.
I do remember that the healing got a little rough.
The knockback is kind of fun. Point. It was super fun for us because I dispelled the knockback early, and the tank missed the line, and then they had to reposition the boss to hit 2 orbs with the same line.
That's kind of cool.
That should be the fight all along, but obviously we're doing it so normal. So it's like the double knock can be really fun. I remember watching it happen on stream.
So he really just needs to go into heroic straight off.
This to go wrong for us. Such a good mechanic.
Yeah.
Such a good mechanic. Having everyone again, it's about this like rhythm of people getting together and moving. It's just everyone here, mechanic. Everyone here, mechanic. And that in the rhythmic sense, while everyone's running around trying to keep up their DPS, or if they're a hard caster, crying and not being able to. So I think that's stuff. I think like there's elements where
I think with fights like this, I think it's that you have to have a certain amount of fights that are kind of easy and kind of farmable right off the beginning, just to kind of help the guilds. I think this is like it's a very subtle middle of the road kind of player thing that everybody says, oh, they don't take care of the average player, which they don't. But I think this is one of the things that they're secretly trying to do is just feed gear to people who maybe can't get through the entire raid on the first week, and maybe just make sure that there are a couple of bosses in each raid tier that you can get relatively easily. And for everyone else, it just kind of helps them complete their set. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just how I feel.
Where I can see specifics, I'm like, this is actually fantastic individual elements of design. The mechanics are so beautiful. They really understand how groups and individual players can have fun.
Oh, yeah, that's good feedback.
Yeah, so I can't wait for that one on Heroic.
Same.
So I'll properly get it then.
That'll be so frustrating. I can't help it.
Soul Render, Dorzemain, whatever. Soul Render, I'll just call him that. Garrosh fight.
Jeez, dude.
Great. Yeah, I like it. It's
Soul
fun.
Render's all right.
I mean, part of that's just because the mechanic is Garrosh is screaming so hard it can kill you from afar.
I mean,
it thematically works. I'm in.
The white mechanic is called Hellscream. Like the ability to use Hellscream, it's so good.
Yeah, it's it's that thing. Like
it's true.
I like a dance.
It's good.
I like doing a dance.
It's a really good good way to deal with everything.
It, and you can hunter about the place, Night Fae about the whatever. It's fun. I thought it was like just simple. You look around you in the room. Big things are happening. Deal with them.
Someone calls 1, you run to 1. Someone calls 3, you run to 3. Excellent. Yeah, it's just that stuff of doing that while also keeping up your DPS is exactly what makes the game literally fun to play.
And then you get that solid base of a boss design, and then you just sort of sprinkle on top of that a few little extra things, a few mechanics, a bit of pressure here, a bit of pressure there, and then I think suddenly you've got a really compelling fight.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I was so hyped to see Garrosh again because he's my favorite character in all of World of Warcraft. So I was just ecstatic to see him. It sucks that he just teleports at the end of the fight and you don't know what the fuck happened or where he went. I'm hoping he escaped and that he's going to come back and fight us again. That would be cool. Or something. I want to know what happens to him. But yeah, Garrosh, really, really cool. But that's basically all I remember from the fight was that there was Garrosh in it.
And I guess as for Painsmith, I mean, we've already covered that. It's one of my favorite fights in ages. Painsmith, like, I was having more fun on those Painsmiths than I was having... Let's see, more fun than Shriekwing, more fun than Huntsman, more fun than Darkvein, more fun than Council. I mean, most of them probably. More fun than Stone Legion Generals. So it's great.
Stone Legion was a pain in the ass, dude. I hated Stone Legion.
The actual thing
for me, it was basing.
Yeah.
If the entire Stone Legion Generals was its final phase, then I'd be like, okay, cool, fun. But for the rest of Stone Legions, I'm just like, I mean, broadly, okay, so we are... it's just that thing. Look, the way that our guild does it, we are... while we are raid-led by... I mean, you killed Mythic Argus. I believe you tanked that. Dakor is an active Mythic Raider.
Big CE player, like.
Right.
But, that's not really our guild. We are basically a curve heroic progression guild. We get curve as a team.
Sure.
Then we do a few more things, and then we just kind of go do some other things. That's just how we do it. Yeah. So for us, it's been playing this on on normal to sort of see everything, and then doing the proper heroic progression. And it's very interesting how for so many guilds who their goal is do it in normal, then do it in heroic. That's I think we'll do it in heroic at least one or two boss or one boss maybe. Is it? Yeah, it's 136, isn't it?
Yeah.
The vault.
No.
No.
147. I've completely lost.
No, it's a lot more than that. It's not 8, isn't? Is it not
like
148?
369, right?
It's 148.
Yeah.
No, so we'll do one. We'll probably do like your man and heroic, just upgrade our great vault. But
first I heard of that.
I mean, we should. It makes sense.
We should, yeah.
But yeah, so we're one of those guilds here. We do night one, and it's either very silly whoopsies that have everyone in stitches laughing, or it's a one shot.
Oh, it's 369. Nice. That's why I was wondering why I was like,
oh, because it's 10.
Why did we not say we'd plan to do that? Because it doesn't work. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's 369. Yeah. Why do I think? Oh, because I've been doing mythic dungeons lately. And you do one
369
to upgrade your box
that's what I thought.
To that level. Yeah. Anyway.
It was 369 last patch
we're
too.
at that 5 out of 10. Bunch of progress in 6. And it's fun. Like so far, my initial I enjoyed Nathria. My impressions of Sanctum are better.
Sanctum's definitely better overall.
Yeah.
I actually think some of that is down to.
So I like Council Nathria just fine.
The Sanctum of Domination actually is.
Sanctum's fun.
I mean, I was going.
Sanctum is enjoyable.
It's a bunch of reused Torghast assets. Fantastic.
I just wish that I wanted to play the game more.
For years. Here's some assets that you've made before and use them elsewhere. Put some goddamn red lighting in them in the correct right direction. Add some detail here and there. Lay them out really annoyingly because it's a raid and you have to do that contractually, I think. And there you go. They've taken a bunch of Torghast assets and they've made a big Torghast raid. And it probably means that, well, I mean, I don't want to get too far into conjecture, but every asset that they used in that raid that already existed is an asset that an artist doesn't have to make for the next patch.
There you go.
Yeah, that's good. That's how to do it. I'm entirely in support of doing all that stuff efficiently. Yeah, totally.
However, it does not mean that they can take that extra time that they saved and use it to make more stupid fucking systems to balance.
Okay, right.
Make content.
Is there anything else no, so what's that? We
don't recycle content so you can make more fucking systems.
You've completely
happy with the raid.
So all of these perfectly done notes, and you've just completely ruined any form of structure we had. So that's fine.
Oh, sorry, Dakor. I mean, yes, okay. So we got the Fall Guys meme as created by.
Yeah. So this was
Big Dumb.
Ultimate knockout.
Yep. Very funny Twitter happenings on this.
True.
But that is essentially what it feels like. And I mean, Fall Guys wasn't like a.
All right, guys, that's it for me. I appreciate your time. It wasn't a super engaged video, but I mean, I'm still gonna post it, and thank you so much if you watched it all the way through. I really appreciate it.